Finding the right fragrances for summer can be so tricky. I always find that whenever I want to pull things for the hotter months, it's always a bit of a challenge because things just don't work the way you would like them to. They don't smell the exact same on your body in the heat, dealing with the elements as they do in the bottle. We don't want to get choked out. We don't want to feel claustrophobic with our fragrances in the summer months. We want to feel airy, light, cheery, pretty. And to do that, I've been testing out these fragrances, wearing different things in the month of May to land on a group of fragrances that do wonderful things for us in summer. So I'm going to share what I've been wearing all month of May, the ones that work anyway. So if that's something you're interested in, if you're looking for inspiration for the month of June, fragrances that are going to give a beautiful vibe without choking you out, I got some options here and I hope this is helpful to you. So let's get into it. Hi, I'm Janique, and it doesn't matter what time of year it is, I'm gonna be wearing perfumes. It's just a matter of finding the right one for the right season, so I give what needs to be gave. And maybe you're in the same boat as I am. You want to smell pretty, you want to smell citrusy, a little bit fresh, and you don't want to pick up the wrong fragrance, spray it on, head out into the world, and be choking all the people out. So I'm going to help you today. We're going to help each other go through some fragrances I've been wearing all month of May. It has been unseasonably hot in the month of May. It should not be this hot, but it has been, and I've been finding that the fragrances I've been pulling have really been working. So let's get into some of these fragrances and I'll explain what they smell like, what they give, and if they might work for you. Also, you don't need to wait till the end of the video to subscribe, like, comment, do all the things. I have so many beautiful options. You just trust me. Do the thing and show me a little bit of love. Okay, let's get into it.
Looks like I lost my favorite times.
We gotta start off with daytime fragrances. These are my favorite fragrances of the month. I don't know why daytime fragrances always like rank so high for me, but I always just feel good and most like myself in my daytime fragrances where I'm not even trying to like make a statement. I'm just trying to feel good and fresh out in the streets. And the first one is Zen Shiseido. This guy here, the original is from like the 1970s, but this reformulation is from 2007. It's been around, and I've worn this very like a lot of summers and always really enjoyed and loved this. It was a pretty classic citrus woody fragrance, so if that's a combination you enjoy, it's a little bit of a sweeter citrus with a little bit of a soapy aspect to it. So I love this for summer because it gives like freshness and lightness and wonderfulness. So in the opening we have all the citrus. We got grapefruit, we got mandarin orange, we got bergamot, right? We also have some other like more tropically and like sweeter fruit like pineapple and red apple. We have some white florals here that give greenness and soapiness. We have some freesia, which is like fresh and soapy, and we also have lily of the valley, which is a lot greener. So that combination just balances everything else. We have a lot of these competing sweeter, fresher, greener notes, citrusy notes, and in the base we have cedar, which is a darker wood to add like a little bit of complexity and balance. So we have this really wonderful fragrance here that I'm going to stay wearing no matter the year. This is a really, reliable summer fragrance for me because it performs really well. It develops really beautifully on the skin without choking you out. Now the next one isn't one that I've had in my collection very long. I hauled it recently. I did a video on that, and it is Dolce & Gabbana's L'Imperatrice 3. Now I knew I was going to pull for this as soon as I purchased it. I tested it during the Sephora sale. Did not expect to like it. I just sort of randomly haphazardly tried it, and the moment I smelled it I was like, yeah, this is my summer fragrance, because it's just a really sour, tart, green combination of things that really work beautifully together. And y'all, you just smell so good wearing it. So it opens up with rhubarb, which a lot of people hate rhubarb openings because it is so tart, almost sour, and it's so distinct. Think Delina, that kind of opening. The rhubarb is just so in your face. I love me a rhubarb. I love to eat rhubarb. I love rhubarb tarts. I love rhubarb in fragrances personally, so I love this. In the mid, we get a bunch of different citrus, but most importantly, we have a lot of like watery watermelon. Like that watermelon note is so distinct, and it adds a little bit of sweetness and freshness and what smells like wateriness to the fragrance. And in the base, what we have here is just some beautiful green citrus notes. So we have lemon tree specifically. So not just the lemon and the sourness and the tartness of the lemon, but the smell of the leaves, right? So very green, earthy, but also fresh. Like, this is such a beautiful, beautiful summer fragrance that I cannot get enough of it. Like I'm just saying, it's perfect if you love a green fragrance, if you love something very citrus, and if you know you love rhubarb and that kind of tart sourness, then L'Empire Cheese 3 is the way to go. I have no regrets about this and I love it so much. Next up, we're doing some fruit bombs because we got AC at the office. We can go a little bit sweeter versus fresher and really like lean into some of those fruitier fragrances in the collection. That is what I would do and that is what I did. And I'm going to share the two fruity fragrances I wore for the month of May because they're both bomb. It's these two, guys. I recently hauled Burberry Her EDT and I talked a lot about how shocked I was by how fantastic it was. Like, I hear about Burberry Her EDT all the time. Everybody loves it, but no one talks about this like fresher version, this more tart version of that fragrance. So in this, we have a lot of younger strawberries, so nothing as sweet, a little bit greener, more tart, fresher, and we have some peony to kind of scale things back so it's not too sharp. It's a really pretty, girly, feminine fragrance that's just really complimentary. I absolutely love this. I just love the fruitiness of it. This one is Le Fleur Bouquet from Afnan. First of all, the bottle is so pretty. So pretty, also so affordable. Even though this has some floral notes like orange blossom and it also has peony, it also has some jasmine in there, so it does have these floral aspects. I would say in the balance between fruit and floral, the floral side is taking a backseat to the fruity side. And what fruits in here? The fruit in here for the most part is lychee. There's also some really juicy peach in here. So I know peach isn't for everybody, but that combination for me is just so sweet and yummy and just so delicious. I love this so much. So it also has like a little bit of muskiness to it, nothing too in your face. Like I'm saying, both of these are just very feminine fragrances with a lot more pronounced sweetness in there that might work if you're not dealing with too much heat. Love these two. For nighttime, unsurprisingly, I went a little bit heavier and I have no regrets about that because usually it's a little bit cooler at night, even in a hotter month, and you want to take advantage of some of the creamier, heavier, or sweeter fragrances in your collection that you might want to like back burner for the whole month, but maybe you don't want to. So the two that I leaned on heavy, Mancera's Instant Crush and Guerlain's Terracotta Le Parfum. Here's the thing. Both of these dope, both of these amazing, but they give a little bit of a different vibe depending on what my night activities were about to be. So the first one is Instant Crush from Mancera, which is a more aromatic in your face fragrance that some people would say is more unisex. I would say it's a little bit sweet to be unisex, but that's just me. I love this fragrance. Some people say it's like it's a close relation to Baccarat Rouge 540 just because of some of the notes in here. So we have saffron, we have some ginger, we also have some citrus notes, vanilla, ambergris, just things that make it thick and heavier, muskier. But then real star players, the ginger and the saffron, like that does most of the work. So if you love something that plays on the skin really nicely, it's a lot more aromatic. It is a lot airier than the terracotta. So if it was a super hot night, I would go for this one. The way that really aromatic fragrances develop on the skin is that like they just jump out a lot more. That ginger jumps out a lot more. So if you like those kinds of smells, they really play well in the summer, especially if the base notes aren't too heavy. And the base notes in this one are not super heavy. So nothing like caramel or anything like that is in here. And so it's a wonderful summer aromatic fragrance to go with. The next one, definitely a lot heavier and one of my favorite Guerlain fragrances of all time, and it is Terracotta Le Parfum. Now this fragrance is a lot heavier. It has coconut in here and very creamy. We have tiare flower, which is like another creamy, heavy, sweeter floral note. We have a lot of ambergris in here, so something very like heavy and sticky, but ambergris, most importantly, has like a smoky kind of essence about it, so it smells almost like tobacco is in here, which I think makes it feel really sexy for nighttime. I love this fragrance. I hope Terracotta never gets Guerlain never gets rid of it, because I know it's not as popular as like Mon Guerlain and some of their other fragrances, some of their other lines, but this is such a pretty fragrance. I stay wearing this. I would say personally this is a good year-round fragrance. Like, it's great for daytime in the warmer months, but it is also great for nighttime in the it's good for daytime in the cooler months and also great for nighttime in the warmer months. So if you're looking for like a coconut white floral heavy fragrance, so there's a lot of orange blossom in here, so a little bit indolic, you know, indolic and also like animalic, so you know it smells kind of sexual, then this is a fantastic, you know, option. Personally, I love this one. So if you're looking for a great nighttime summer fragrance, think about Terracotta. Maybe try to get your nose on it, see if you like that smoky accord or not, and go from there. Let's move on. So every month I usually have some wildcard fragrances, and usually these are fragrances that I don't wear that much in my collection. This month, that's not that. Like, these are fragrances that I'm going to keep on my tray for the summer and don't plan to slide them off regardless. Especially since like this last month of May, it was my birthday, yeah, and so I wanted to give us a lot of like opulence and extraness, and two of my favorite fragrances for that reason personally is the new Club de Nuit Imperiale that I added to my collection. This is from Armaf, and this is a dupe of Delina, Parfum de Mali, Delina Exclusive, and Delina, sort of the middle ground between the two. And I'm obsessed with this. As I've said before earlier in the video, that there's a rhubarb opening. In this one though, we have this sort of marshmallowy essence. This is the best dupe of this fragrance I've ever tried, and I've gotten so many compliments. Like, literally, I was walking down the street and I passed by this woman, and then I hear her shout at me from down the street that I smell good, and I was like, thank you, right? Like, it you know, she passed me. I was like, should I say something? And I guess she decided to yell at me from down the street that I smelled good, and that is what I get from this a lot. Like, when I wear it out into the world, how great it smells, and it really does. There's something really addictive about Club de Nuit Imperiale, to the point where like my appetite to get the Parfums de Marly version has completely went away. I don't need it because I have this one and I love it so much. So if you're looking for a dupe, or you love that like super feminine but also fresh but also a little bit sweet fragrance, then this hits all the spots. Now, I'm a Chloé Nomade girly. I've said this multiple times, but for the summer, I'm going to be relying more heavily on Nomade Absolu instead of the original. This is a greener, woodier version of the original. I would say Chloé Nomade has like a lot of citrusy aspects, which are really pretty, really nice, and I love that, especially for work. I rely on it a lot. This one has a sharper greenness to it that is so in your face that, like, if you don't love greenness, this is not the one. The woodiness in here is also super pronounced, and I think this makes a bolder, more in your face statement. And so if I want to make a statement, these are the two fragrances I'm going to reach for, because I think they have a ton of personality. So yeah, as you can see, a lot of green and citrusy fragrances this month, but I make no apologies. None at all. My bedtime fragrances are always over the top sweet. Like, they aren't the kind of fragrances that have like a ton of balance or anything. Or that's not what I'm looking for when I think of bedtime fragrances. I just want sweet, delicious, comforting. And the two that I went for the month of May and likely well into June, the first one is Rihanna's Riri. It's this guy here. I talked about this fragrance in my Sweet Like Candy perfume video, so if you love extra sweet fragrances, check out that video. This is a vanilla fragrance that has honeysuckle, so that like honey aspect to it, and it has some rum in the opening, just to add a little bit of nuance and interest to the fragrance. I find it's so overly sweet. It's so candy smelling. It's like a toffee or something. It is wonderful. I love this, and it's going to be like it was a comforting dream. It's going to continue to be a comforting dream for the month of June. There's also Guess Marciano. Like, I've had it on my, you know, on the back burner in my collection. I have not really been pulling for it, and I figured I would pull it out for bedtime. I thought the fact that this had cardamom and curacao rum in there, it would be a little bit distracting to go to bed, but I did not find that at all. The cardamom sort of reads like a warm kitchen spice, like you might something like cinnamon, and the vanilla in here is so heavy and sweet. The curacao just adds a little bit of dimension to it. It's not super distracting, and you can usually find this on sale in clearance sections between $10 and $20, so super affordable. Same with this one. This is a super affordable fragrance in the same price range between $10 and $20. Just mad like cheap and lovely and sweet, and you can't ask for anything more than that when you're thinking about a bedtime fragrance, something to just spray yourself down to go to bed and feel cozy. So I'm excited about wearing these for the month of June as well, because they did so well last month. As usual, I'm going to add in some of my like regulars, like the Bum Bum Cream and, you know, Sol de Janeiro 62, that caramel, salted caramel fragrance with a little bit of pistachio in it, and my BCBGs that sit close to me. Also, there's solid notes. Basically, I'm going to be relying mostly on these two, but there could be, you know, an inclusion from one of my body splashes, because we don't hate on body splashes just because we love a perfume. So for the month of May, I carried around a bunch of different perfumes. Like usually I go into the month thinking I'm going to pick 2, and then I end up picking and using more than that. So as it turns out, I ended up using 4 for the most part, and they were all winners in my book. There was no dud among them, but they're all different but the same at the same time. I won't hold it, kind of sprint through the options. So the first one maybe the sweetest of the bunch, I would say, is Daisy Love by Marc Jacobs. I will say this is the best Daisy fragrance in my book. Personally, I've done a short on this before. I love this Daisy Love fragrance. It's cloudberry and daisies. Cloudberry is like a berry, but like lighter and softer, just like daisy as a floral note is lighter and softer. It's a very light, sweet, soft fragrance that is, I think, very pretty and complimentary and isn't too complicated or in your face, and I love it. I would buy a full bottle of this in a heartbeat, and I wouldn't say that about any of the other Daisy fragrances. The next one is Idole Aura. I stan Idole. I don't care if people think it's basic. I love it. And this one is like a saltier version of Idole. So we have this, you know, the traditional rose we have with Idole. We have a little bit of jasmine as well. But what we have that sets it apart from the original is salt. So we have some salt, we have some vanilla in here. So if you love a saltier scent and you find that salt in summer is your vibe, which it is for me, then you might like this as well. I don't know if I'd buy a full-size bottle of it, but I'm going to enjoy it for the summer while I have it. The next one is Donna Born in Roma Yellow Dream. I really enjoy this fragrance. I have a lot of things that kind of smell similar, but I do really love this. It is a citrus and floral fragrance. So it has rose and it has a lot of different types of citrus, primarily bergamot in it. So it is a fresher fragrance if you're looking for that vibe. I always think of this in like the same category as a lot of Burberry fragrances, like Burberry Touch and Burberry like London and those types of fragrances. I even say Chloé Nomade, like in that family of these fresher citrusy fragrances. This falls in there. So this is good for like a very, very hot day. Nothing too overwhelming. I also have a Scentbird subscription, and I, for this month, got Whispers of Truth. I really randomly selected it, not knowing super what to expect and being really impressed. Now, am I ever going to buy a full-size bottle of this? No, because it cost, I think, like $700. Like, no joke, I'm not kidding. Like, it is ridiculous. Like, this is from House of Sillage. This is not my tax bracket, right? But I am going to enjoy this travel size version while I have it. It is a very citrus heavy fragrance that is so addictive. Like, I cannot even tell you like how good it is. It is just so green, fresh, fruity at the same time. The balance is unreal in this fragrance. It's like Perfumes de Marley could never. It's like next level, just delicious in how it smells. It smells so fucking bougie, and yeah, it's not for me personally to like go out and spend, you know, $700 on on one perfume, but the bottles themselves that they come in, beautiful. You know those cupcake bottles that you sometimes see in some videos, but this fragrance is like next level. If you love a tart citrus, like almost sour fragrance, and I'm going to really enjoy wearing this for the summer. It is not leaving my bag. I'm going to wear the hell out of it. But yeah, those are my purse sprays for the month. So that's everything for me. Everything that I wore in the month of May and a lot of what I'm taking into June with me. I'm pretty excited to be continuing to wear a lot of these fragrances because they are so summer appropriate. I hope you found some inspiration in this video, some fragrances that might work for you as well. If you enjoyed this video, check out my last perfume tray video. Even though those fragrances were more for transitional months, was a little bit cooler, maybe there's something there you would enjoy as well. Again, I'm Janine. I would love if you would subscribe, like, do all the things so that I can grow this channel from the little baby channel that it is to a slightly less baby channel that it could be. I would really appreciate it, and I hope you come back for the next video because I want to see you here. All right, y'all. Bye.
See, you've been on the mind.